Samuel's upbringing was amidst opulence, but his happiness remained elusive. His father, from an early age, imposed stringent restrictions on him, curbing his every desire, denying him frivolous expenditures, and swiftly quashing any mischief, no matter how benign. His father's watchful gaze extended to Mary, Samuel's mother, ensuring she didn't indulge her son. Samuel attended a regular school, blending in with his peers from ordinary families. In truth, he was the product of Mary's first ill-fated marriage. Back then, her current spouse was far from wealthy, still navigating the tumultuous early years of his business career. Despite his unwavering love for his wife, he could never fully accept Samuel as his own. Daily, he berated himself for his severity, vowing to be more lenient, yet repeatedly succumbing to old habits. Nicholas, the stepfather, maintained a distant relationship with Samuel, consistently undervaluing his achievements and persistently demanding more. Throughout his youth, Samuel strived for acknowledgement, yearning for Nicholas's approval, only to be met with relentless criticism. Mary silently observed her son's futile efforts, having already come to terms with her husband's unyielding character. Unbeknownst to Samuel, he wasn't Nicholas's biological child, yet he held on to the hope of one day earning his father's trust. His memories were tainted by his father's endless reprimands, and even his mother's boundless love couldn't alleviate the bitterness. At 27, having graduated from the prestigious High School of Economics, Samuel's achievements remained unnoticed by Nicholas, who still doubted his abilities. After persistent persuasion, the businessman finally decided to grant his son a chance. Samuel was tasked with leading one of the company's subsidiaries for 3 months, but the subsidiary was in dire straits. Samuel, overjoyed by this opportunity to prove himself to his father, was unaware of the branch's grim situation. He arrived at the office with a beaming smile, armed with stacks of paperwork and impeccably dressed. He understood the challenges that lay ahead, but was determined to showcase his worth to his father. Samuel began by engaging with the staff, meticulously evaluating each employee's performance and guiding them toward improvement. He inspired some, demanded obedience from others, and maintained a friendly approach with a few. Through his efforts, he earned the trust of the staff, even winning over the skeptics who had initially doubted the young man's leadership abilities. Samuel's plans to rescue the subsidiary gradually transformed into reality. On this challenging journey, he found solace and a loyal companion in Abigail, a friendly and approachable cleaner who was well acquainted with all the employees. Her infectious charm captivated everyone, including Samuel, who sought comfort in her company after setbacks. Samuel had limited knowledge about Abigail. He only knew that she had studied economics for 3 years before taking an academic leave. One evening, as the office staff departed, he whispered, "You always listen to me, and I don't know anything about you. If you need assistance, please don't hesitate to ask, and I'll do my best to help." Abigail sighed sadly and replied, "The situation is dire. Only a miracle can help. My mother is ill and needs surgery, which is why I had to start working here. The pay is better, and the schedule suits me. After my dad passed away a few years ago, our problems began. I left my education to care for my mother. That's my story." Samuel felt a mixture of empathy and surprise, realizing Abigail's struggles. He said, "I'm sorry you're facing all this alone. You're incredibly strong. I stand by my offer to help just as you've helped me." Abigail appreciated Samuel's humility and responded, "That's what I admire about you. You're not the arrogant boss's son everyone expected." After these candid conversations, they felt a connection building. They weren't immediate friends, but each morning Samuel found joy in seeing Abigail's smiling face when entering the building. Despite her lack of a degree, Abigail demonstrated a strong understanding of economics and offered sound advice. Seeing her fatigue, Samuel attempted to ease her workload, but she firmly declined. Abigail didn't want to be indebted or take advantage of her boss's kindness. Meanwhile, the subsidiary thrived under Samuel's leadership. Nicholas, his father, had been closely observing his son's work. Initially skeptical, Nicholas acknowledged Samuel's remarkable progress. Despite Samuel's relentless efforts, his father was still inclined to challenge him. He initiated a video call and mentioned a potential partnership with Mr. Michael, a shrewd and influential figure in the business community, testing Samuel's abilities. Nicholas enjoyed the puzzled expression on Samuel's face, savoring his victory. Despite the threat, Samuel was no longer preoccupied with winning his father's approval. He had a successful company and a harmonious team, which were his primary concerns. Mr. Michael, known for his family values, preferred collaborating with married businessmen, believing that those who prioritized their families would handle business similarly. Samuel realized that he couldn't consider cooperation until he found the right partner to play his wife's role. However, his thoughts were consumed by Abigail. Her presence was comforting, and she offered valuable advice, seamlessly supporting any conversation. Abigail had an excellent sense of the situation, knowing when to speak and when to be silent. She didn't flaunt her intelligence but didn't hide it either. Convinced that there was no better candidate, Samuel asked Abigail to pretend to be his wife during negotiations with the businessman. At first, Abigail was taken aback, finding the situation reminiscent of a cheesy melodrama scene. But understanding Samuel's need for help, she agreed. In the days leading up to the business dinner, they discussed their roles and rehearsed extensively to avoid awkward moments and impress the astute Mr. Michael. On the big day, they arrived at the restaurant on schedule. Abigail, in her exquisite white pantsuit, drew the attention of everyone with her delicate appearance. Samuel was nervous during dinner, and Abigail made efforts to divert attention towards herself, helping him regain composure. The initial conversation was awkward, with Mr. Michael displaying skepticism. However, as the meal progressed, the ladies quickly found common ground, and the atmosphere lightened. Abigail skillfully avoided discussing business immediately, engaging in light conversation and playfully reassuring Samuel. Gradually, Samuel regained his composure, admiring Abigail's conversational prowess. She even made a couple of insightful suggestions that caught Mr. Michael's interest, leading him to compliment Samuel's charming wife. Abigail subtly emphasized Samuel's leadership, and when questioned about her involvement in her husband's business, modestly claimed to be his dependable support. After dinner, Mr. Michael signed the cooperation agreement, impressed by the young couple. Despite his limited experience, Samuel had proven his business acumen, promising profitable joint ventures. Upon hearing about the deal, Nicholas, Samuel's father, visited the office the next morning to understand how his son had managed to secure an agreement with Mr. Michael. Samuel introduced Abigail as his guardian angel, which infuriated his father. He criticized Abigail for participating in negotiations with a respected individual. But for the first time, Samuel firmly interrupted his father's reproaches. "Dad, please stop. I've endured enough from you over the years. Mom told me everything yesterday, and I've learned that I'm not your biological son. Nevertheless, I love and respect you. Thank you for raising me and helping me leave my past behind. But I won't let go of Abigail. She's a blessing from above and will be my wife. I won't allow anyone, not even you, to hurt her or speak ill of her." Samuel held Abigail's hand, his determination unwavering as he addressed his father. The son's impassioned and heartfelt speech stirred deep emotions within his father, sparking a profound sense of guilt and remorse. Nicholas recognized the extent of his mistakes and genuinely apologized for all the hurt he had caused. Touched by his father's apology, Samuel embraced him and expressed his forgiveness, emphasizing that he had let go of the past and hoped his father would accept Abigail as part of the family. Abigail's mother underwent a successful surgery performed by renowned surgeons, and her swift recovery allowed her to share in her daughter's happiness. Following their wedding, Abigail resumed her studies in economics at the university, passionately pursuing her academic interests. Samuel continued to excel in his leadership role within the company, and his competence was unquestionable. Dear friends, I hope you've enjoyed this story. I wish you all well and look forward to seeing you again.